Alright, guys, this is the unscripted guide to Gyfins from A to Z. Okay, where is Gyfins? Well, you open up your map, look at around the Kamasovi area, bottom left, you will see something like this in the water, and Gyfin Rhasia is right here. You want to make it to this, you just right click, and you want to go to the node manager, and you'll be inside. All you gotta do is find a spot there where the statues are, and boom, that's it. So that's where Gyfin Rhasia is. Now let's talk about the mechanics of grind there. Okay, so I'm just gonna go over my past grind that I did, and we're just gonna break down how to grind there. Okay, so before we start, we want to figure out what gear to use. So let's talk about the gear first before we start. All right, and in my guide, my second part guide, I recommended starting at 281 AP if you're seasoned. So this right here is where I recommend for you to grind Gyfin Rhasia. And let's compare how this is in terms of gear and what you need to grind there. Okay, so if you look at your monster AP with this gear, if you look at your monster AP, your 747 monster AP, your species damage, which is 25, and then your Kama Sylvia damage, which is 33. So 25 plus 33 is 53. And then if you look at monster AP right here, it's 747, which is exactly 800. And and the way you check how much AP you really need is all you do is go to the PvE damage calculator right here, and you go right here and you look at Gyfin Rhasia Underground. And if you look at Gyfin Rhasia Underground, it'll tell you the monster DR right here, the DR breakpoint, and the AP cap. As you see here, the AP cap is 800. Don't look at the thing on the right or the damage and the damage increase. This is all it's saying is the difference between the two. What we are looking for is the gear that I recommended, which is this exactly to start. Oh, crystal preset. There we go. There's a crystal preset. So at this gear, what I recommended you with the damage reduction artifacts, damage reduction. Well, yeah. Let's look at the artifacts. I recommend monster damage reduction with double veil and double hearts if you are first starting out. And then if you're a veteran, you can run Death Blow if it's good for your class. You can run Kama Sylvia damage if that's good for your class, and you can run Vicious Shadows if that's good for your class. I personally run Kama Sylvia damage because it's cheaper, but when I first started out, this is what I was running. Not all damage. Damage reduction against monsters. So this is exactly what I ran right here. Damage reduction against monsters, and the crystal setup is right here. So, did I use this one? Special attack evasion, Akarad, Boom, boom. Macaloids. Absorption. I think this is something what I ran right here personally. So yeah, I recommend this because right here you get the crit, and all you're looking for is AP now. So crit, AP, monster damage now. You get monster damage from here. Well, not really monster damage. You're just looking for AP or AP against monster. So this right here is hidden AP. This right here is monster, extra AP against monster. Same thing. The reason why I run special attack evasion is because you're gonna get hit, and you want to take less damage from the special attacks that are coming, like back attack. And I run absorption for more tankiness because you get more healing from your skills when you hit. I run corrupteds because corrupteds are really good. They give, like, in terms of damage, these are like probably, this is probably the core of your crystal damage right here. And I run macaloids because they're just cheap. So anything right here breaks outside of these valors, it's fine. You can just replace it. But these valors are the expensive things right here. If you really don't trust yourself using valors, then you can just use the cheaper valors. Something like this. These all give crit. You can run cheaper valors. Or if you have a costume slot, you can use a valor in here plus one valor and then an AP or monster AP crystal, and that will still be the same. So fairly cheap crystal build. Let's talk about the buffs I recommend. Personally, I recommend simple with church buffs. Right here are the church buffs: Villa, Frenzy, and I do have a house buff here, but since house buff is very hard to get, just try to run any house buff that you can, like DP or HP or anything cheap that you can get hold of that will prevent you from dying if you need to, or you could run accuracy if you need accuracy. So anything that you actually need, you can use. You don't have to use the AP one if you can't find one, but if you can find one, it's definitely going to help you because you are running fairly low gear when you're starting out with this. And here you will hit the AP cap, if like barely. You barely hit the AP cap. And that's more than enough to do one rotation on them. I was doing 1+ something like that when I first started, so just expect you to do 1 or 2 turnarounds. I'll explain what turnarounds mean in a bit. So we talked about where it is. We talked about the gear you want to start at, which is 281 AP and like this much DP. I personally started 338 DP, but this is way higher than 338. The buffs you want to run, we covered that, and the crystal builds. Okay, so let's just go into the mechanics of Gyfin Rhasia. All right. So this was me grinding Gyfin Rhasia about 2 weeks ago. 14-day-old VOD right here, and we're just gonna break this down. Okay. So I get here, I got my temp buff pop, I got my event buff popped, I got my villa, food buff, Alkstone. Like I said, I personally don't run at this point in my gear, I personally don't run house buff, but I recommend you to if you are lower geared. I click the top left. I have, let's just say, this right here. So I have my loot scroll on. I personally grind on 1, but if you have fair bit of loot scroll, just run level 2. And then also I use my fairy to get my buff right here. So this is my frenzy right here. Boom. Frenzy's popped, and basically all of my buffs are popped, right? We got the temp buff. We got the temp buff right here. Whoops. Well, temp buff here. We got the this is a little scuff, but temp buff here. Then we got the draft. Then we got the um church buff. Oh, not church buff. My villa, and I am missing church buff. But the thing is, at this point in my gear, I felt comfortable not running them. But church buff is something that you want to add for survivability and damage and accuracy. So I didn't personally run it, but you can. And what I like to personally start with when I grind is this blue guy. Blue guy is always, for me, the easiest one. So you have three options when you grind here, right? You have option one, which is blue, purple, and red. And the reason why I choose blue is because, while blue guy does have a one shot skill, he doesn't do it until fairly late into his skill rotation, versus the purple guy, which will do his one shot skill fairly early. And what we're so let's go. So I start off by hitting him. Right now, if you can see this, he has a DP buff up, right? Right here, he has a DP buff up. It's a little aqua blue colored, indicating that he has a DP buff. So what I typically do at this point is, right here is the safe spot, which is behind him. I typically use my pre-buffs, okay? So my pre-buffs are this skills. Whoops. These are my pre-buffs right here. This one, then this one, whoops, and this one. These three are my pre-buffs. Technically, it's just two, not three. So I pre-buff, and then this is another pre-buff right here. So I'll do three pre-buffs. By the time he turns around, I'll do F and W RMB also for accuracy. And if you look at the crystal, I don't use any accuracy accessories, and you do require accuracy. So make sure whenever you are grinding, while you're in this starter phase right here, just do your pre-buffs, and also make sure your accuracy buff is on and your evasion debuff is also on the mob before he turns around. So watch what happens, okay? So I use my FD, then I go into my I go into FD, then I go into my second pre-buff, then I go into my crit buff right here, which is my third skill. And then after I do my third skill, I go F, then WRMB. If you look at my character, how he stomped the ground, and now he is headbutting. So I'm doing basically ground stop into headbutt. That's my accuracy skill. And by the time that happens, I'm just waiting for the mob to turn around, right? So now if you look at the mob is facing this direction, correct? What you want to do is, as soon as the mob starts facing you, you need to go to the opposite direction. You need to get behind the mobs to get into back attack of him. Okay, so this mob will turn around, and what you want to do is you want to go back. So now the free spot is right behind him. So he turns around and he's doing his attack, and this is already my next move. Okay, so I'm already clawing him. After I did my pre-buffs, I'm just using a filler skill until he turns around. So as soon as he turns around, now I would go behind him. So just like this. Boom. I'm behind him, as you can see. And now if you look at where my where my damage, where I need to be right here. This is right behind him, so I can hit him, and this is the safe space in this area. And the reason why this is a safe space is these mobs, this mob right here and this mob right here, will attack in that direction. These two guys will attack in that direction, and this is my safe space where I won't get hit, okay? So, and this guy, the main guy, is already hitting this direction anyways because we went through him, and now we are in the safe spot, right? And this is where you want to dump your most of your damage. So what's going to happen here is, okay, since this is my first buff and I don't have the buff at all, well, I need to kill him without a buff. So he's going to do a second turnaround or maybe a third turnaround for you or me. And what you want to do is as soon as he turns around again, so as soon as he faces this direction again, what you want to do is you want to go in the opposite direction of him. So let's go. So he turned around and I moved behind him, right? Now my free spot is right here. These two guys right here will still attack in this direction typically, but the thing is their damage is very minimal, and you can basically ignore their damage if you're perfectly right here. If you're perfectly behind this guy, you can basically just ignore those two, okay? So I'm just dumping damage to kill him. He turned around again and I got behind him. So as soon as this is what you got to understand when you're doing this grind spot is you want to get behind the mob and right behind the mob and just damage them from behind the mob. Boom. So let's talk about the buff. My bad earlier. I think I got it wrong. So it's blue, then purple, then red. And it's always going to be blue, purple, red, okay? So blue, then purple, then red. Okay? And the way you know it is that there's going to be a text bubble that pops up right here when you kill something. Whenever you kill something, there will be a text bubble right here on your screen highlighting the color that you need to kill, okay? And you can also see it on your buff bar right here. This on the buff bar right here is where it shows you that you need to kill, you have 59 seconds to kill the purple guy, which is your next buff. So you want to basically kill the buff that you have, okay? And so let's talk about the purple guy, okay? So also here's what's happening. I killed the mob, right? And the next set of mobs will spawn. All of these mobs will always spawn in random areas. So when I killed blue right here, right? When I killed blue right here, that doesn't mean blue will always spawn here. Purple can spawn here after dying, or red can spawn here while dying, okay? So anything can spawn anywhere, but all three are in the same areas, okay? So this could be blue, red, or purple. So what I'm doing is I'm just staying here and damaging to see what spawns here. I could be looking at the other statues, like something you will eventually do. But when you get lazy enough, you just wait until they spawn. And this indicates that I'm hitting the wrong thing. I got to kill purple. So let's see what I do here. Well, I was a dumbass and I aggroed blue again. So we're just gonna move past this. Oh, what happens is whenever you do the wrong one, you gotta basically kill the one that you aggroed, right? The same way as not having the buff. And this is me grinding. This is me lazy grinding for a while. So yeah, I'm sorry I made a mistake. I'll just fast forward a bit. I guess I was distracted. Let me see if I'm distracted again. I don't know why I'm distracted. Well, this is my initial hour of grinding, so that's why I'm distracted, but... Alright, so let's talk about purple. So I have 33 seconds to kill purple. I'm gonna aggro the purple, and, well... This is the mechanic, again, okay? So the boss is facing this way, right? The boss is facing this way, and I am right here, right behind him. Where you want to be is right behind him to aggro him. So what's going to happen is for this guy, whenever you see him do the arm attack, is when you're going to know that he's available to do DPS. So still right here, if you look on the top, he still has a DP debuff, right? Whoops. My my pen is um not working, so give me a second. We activate the pen again. Boom, pen's activated. All right, let's go. So for the purple one, what you want to do again is he'll do the arm attack, and now if you look up top, he doesn't have the DP debuff. So now I know I can start dumping my real skills. So let's see. So I'm still clawing, and he turns around again. You see how he turned around? I went right behind him. Like what you want to do is as soon as you go right behind him, that's when you want to start dumping the damage. But I just started earlier because he was taking too long to turn around. So just dump. You want to start dumping damage as soon as you realize that there is no blue buff up top. Okay. So as soon as there's no blue buff up top, that's where your real skills start coming in. For me as a Zerker, it's my spin skill, Raging Thunder. So I'll just use Raging Thunder as soon as the blue thing goes off. And my indicator for the purple guy is basically as soon as there is no as soon as he does the arm attack, that's when I know to get to start doing my damage. All right. So for here, a boss spawn. So I'm just gonna skip ahead, and we're just gonna go to the next one after this. Okay. So the next one after purple is red. Whenever you kill purple, you're gonna get a red buff again right here. Red buff. Whoops. If you look right here, there's a red buff. And also, if you look here on your screen, there is a red text. All right. So let's go over what to do with the red guy. Okay. So red guy comes here. You're right here. Again, you want to start directly behind him, right? You want to start directly behind him, and you're waking him up. Watch what happens. Okay. So when you wake him up again on the top of your screen, again on the top of your screen, you'll see right here the same DP debuff. Okay, I mean DP buff, and you just want to use your pre-buff skills and then use filler damage until he turns around. So he still has the buff up. I already used all my buffs, so as you can see right here, I used both of my buffs right here. I used my crit buff right here. I already used my FD and stomp for my, not FD and stomp, stomp and headbutt for my accuracy. Let me see if I, oh, right here. There's my accuracy, there's my accuracy skill right here. And then if you look right here, there is a evasion debuff right here. This is the evasion debuff. So I use all of my buffs. I use my accuracy buff and I use my evasion debuff. All my buffs and debuffs, all my add-ons are applied to the target and myself. I have all the buffs up, and all I'm waiting for is the boss to turn around this way so I can go in the opposite direction of him and then DPS from behind him. So let's see what happens. So I'm just waiting for him to turn. He turns around, and now my location is right behind him. Whoops. So I'm right behind him around here. And as you see, as soon as you're behind him, you just want to keep DPSing from behind him. And that, again, that was all of it. But we're going to go over blue because we did blue initially. So let's go over blue again, okay? So for blue, he'll stand up. And for me, the indication that I have with blue that his DP debuff is gone, as you see right here, as soon as you wake him up, he has a DP buff. All you want to do is use all your, again, you want to use this and you want to use this and you want to use your headbutt and stomp or whatever it is in your class. You just want to use your pre-buff skills while he has DP buff up, and you want to apply your accuracy and evasion reduction while it's on. So we're just gonna go and play this and see what happens. So he wakes up. You're still pre-buffing. I'm still pre-buffing. You see how he pulls his sword over him like that? As soon as he pulls his sword over, it's guaranteed that he's gonna turn in that direction. All right. So what you want to do is you want to go and swap and get right behind him. You want to get right behind him so then you can stay in this area. And this area is in between this guy right here and this guy right here and this guy and behind this guy right here. Okay, so this guy is the right dude and this guy is the left dude, and you want to be in the middle of those two dudes, and then this guy will attack here, and these guys will also attack here, but sometimes they'll attack to the side and you might get clipped. So what you want to do is when you're doing damage here, just be ready to get hit from either side, and it's only a sometimes thing. If you position properly, you can probably just ignore these two guys hitting you. Okay. And if you look at my HP bar right here, the reason why you don't see me take damage is because I have gear. But when I used to not have gear, I used to die to those attacks. And as you see here, when he turned around and I did my big damage skills right behind him, he dies. Typically, that's how it's going to be for you. So that was the mechanic. So blue, purple, and red. Blue, purple, red. Remember that in same order. Blue, purple, red. Let's talk about how to do the boss. Okay, so there's an additional mechanic here that is well, not the boss. Is it elite? Let's go see if we can find the boss and how to do the boss properly. Okay. So we found it. All right. So this is how it's going to look like when a boss appears. I don't know if he's a boss, an elite, or whatever. Okay, so this is the special mechanic that happens. All right, let's look at the special mechanic. So whenever you kill a mob, there's a chance that an elite or a boss, I'm just going to call him boss from now on, that the boss appears, okay? And when the boss appears, this is the indication right here, all right? It's going to be colored red, and it's going to be a red text. It'll say butcher has appeared, okay? So you're just looking for a butcher, and this is how the butcher is going to work, okay? When the butcher spawns, all the statues will be idle. You can't activate any of them. Even if you hit them, they won't activate. Okay? The only person you can hit is butchers and the trash mobs around him, like this guy. If this guy... Well, he's not a trash mob. He actually died with this. But if there are little mini mobs running around, well, you can still hit them. And the butcher. But your objective is to kill the butcher. And what will end up happening is that you see something right here. This guy gave you a red buff. When you rid of that real quick. Yeah, when you look at that right there, when you kill the butcher, you'll get a butcher buff. It's going to be yellow. It's not going to be red or purple or blue. And the yellow buff will allow you to kill any of the three with any of the three packs with ease. Okay, so what you want to do right here whenever you notice this is you want to go to the area where the butcher will spawn. For the grind location that I'm doing, he spawns right here, right? He spawns right there. But each grind location, he'll spawn somewhere in the middle, just like this, and it's always going to be static for each grind location. This grind rotation, for example, he'll spawn here, and what you want to do is, as soon as he spawns, you can start DPSing him. He really doesn't have like a downtime. So let's just look at that, okay? So he spawns again. The same thing I would recommend is you want to stay behind him, right? You want to stay right behind him. This is where he's facing, and he's facing this way. What you want to do is get behind him again, but the same thing, okay? You want to get all of your pre-buffs up. You want to get your literally all your pre-buffs up, and you want to get your accuracy, and you want to get your evasion rate up, okay? And the reason why you want to get accuracy and evasion rate up is because, well, you don't have accuracy and evasion in the crystals that I recommended as a speed beginner. But if you end up getting further in and you actually end up getting best in slot crystals and your accuracy is high enough that you don't need it for Gyfin, then you don't need to use your accuracy and evasion skills anymore. But for the people that don't have enough accuracy and evasion, make sure you get your accuracy and evasion skills in while he is still in this motion. You can still DPS him. As you can see, he does not have as you can see, he does not have like a DP. Whoops. Like the blue DP up icon. So he's always gonna take max amount of damage, right? So you just kill him. I'm just doing my damage combo. This is my lazy damage combo, but all you want to do is stay behind him and DPS him. So now let's see what happens as soon as this guy dies, okay? This is very crucial to grinding here and not dying, okay? This is what you want to do as soon as this guy dies. Or actually, even before this guy dies, you want to do this, okay? What you are looking for is the purple guy. And the reason why you're looking for the purple guy, I'll show you in a moment. You see how I looked around? I found the purple guy, and I'm going straight towards him. This is the purple guy that I identified. He's right here, and I'm gonna go straight towards him. And this is and what ends up happening is this purple guy has two skills he can do. Okay, the first skill that he can do is going to be like a cone, like this towards this way, in the direction he's facing, like this way. I'm going to do a cone this way. Or he has a second skill, which actually ends up being a circle. It's supposed to be a circle in front of him, right? It's supposed to be a circle in front of him, a big circle in front of him. But sometimes the indicator will be like this all around him, okay? Sometimes it'll be like this, and what I recommend you to do is don't even take the chance of getting hit by it and just run out of it. Because after the circle attack, he's going to do... what he's gonna do is he's gonna do bunch of lines, okay? He's gonna do bunch of line skill, and when he does those line skills, you can get behind him and DPS him from the back, okay? Here you'll see me just ignore this mechanic fully because I know what is going on, but let me play this out so you can see. So well, I didn't know which skill he was doing because he died before he even could do the skill. You want to rush to him and do DPS behind his back to kill him ASAP. And if you ever see a circle around him like that, make sure you get out of that, because that is going to kill you no matter what gear you have. Most likely will kill you. And then wait for the lines to appear, get behind him and kill him. And after you kill the purple guy, then it's all chill. Then you can just go around killing this red guy and the blue guy. I don't know where the blue guy is, but we'll just play out. And you want to kill all three of them after the butcher is dead. Typically the purple guy first, and then take care of the other two. So let's see how this goes. I take care of the red guy. Boom. Red guy is dead. Well, the blue guy also does damage, as you can see, because I was just standing there. But you just want to take care of the red guy and the blue guy. And then after that, all three of the statues will appear. And this is like the min-max thing that you can do, okay? This is the min-max thing you can do. Let me show you how to do this min-max thing. All right, I'm not perfect at it, but this is how I do it. This is how I do it as a Zerg, okay? I look for either a red guy or a blue guy, okay? This is my technique, okay? So I look for a red guy or a blue guy. Again, I'm going straight from the back, and I'm all the while he's waking up, I'm doing damage, and because I have the the butcher buff, he's taking insane amount of damage. So I have to watch out in terms of how much damage I do. As you can see, I'm just doing my filler skills right now, and he's gonna get shredded. So let's go back real quick to show you how long it took me to even move out. So as soon as you see, for me, the indication is he wakes up like this. As soon as he wakes up like this, around this time is when I'll stop DPSing him and I'll go to the next statue. So let's say I'm at the statue right here, and this is the guy I wake up, right? I'll locate a second statue and I'll go right in there, okay? The location that I want to be at is right in the middle of these three, okay? Whoops. Yeah, I want to be right in the middle of these three. So I'll wake him up, and that's where I'm going. So let's see what ends up happening. Wake him up. And as you can see, the guy's HP was half HP. So I'll get right here. Again, like I said, I'll get in the center of it. And what's going to happen is he's going to come somewhere close to here. He's going to come somewhere close to here. And what you want to do is you just want to do AoE skills to hit him, and it's going to kill him. Because you have the butcher buff, it's going to kill him. And the reason why you're doing this is to maintain the butcher buff, okay? And the way you maintain the butcher buff is you want to kill the mob not where the mob is, but away from where the mob is. Because the way you get the buff is by killing a mob and being in the location of where the mob's death was. Okay. And now you might be saying, well, if that's the case, then if I kill it here, then why won't I get the buff here? Well, the mob's initial location was back there. Okay. And in that area is where you'll get the buff. But since the mob is away from that area, is the reason why you won't get the buff here. So that's the whole point of moving the mob here. And this is how I do it. This is how I properly move it. This is my location where I go. And let's just watch it. So I wait. I'm waiting for it here. I'm just using skill. I'm just staying protected. And as you can see right here, I'm just doing a bunch of giant AoEs right in this area. Giant AoEs in this area. And you can see right here, his HP is about dead. So let's see how it goes off. Boom, he's dead. Now what I'm doing again is I'm looking for blue, or I'm looking for blue. Oh, and as you can see right here, after I killed him, I'm still maintaining this buff, okay? I'm still maintaining this buff. I have 25 seconds. Typically, I do 3, but you can start off as 2. You can start off as 1, but just practice this, and this will increase your trash per hour. I typically do 3 total with the butcher buff. Okay. So after this guy is dead, I'm looking for this area right here to be blue or purple. Okay. We don't want to go back to the location where we started that one. We don't want to. We want to make sure we don't go back to that location itself, because if we go to that location, we're gonna get that buff again, and we don't want that to happen. So watch what happens here. This guy is blue. If this guy was purple, I'll go to the third statue location, okay? If this guy was purple, I'd go this way, and I'd go to the third statue location, and that will for sure be a blue or a red one if this guy was purple. But this guy is not purple, so I'm gonna stay here, and I'm just gonna wake him up, and again, I'm gonna do the same thing, okay? Let's see. I'm gonna wake him up. I'm gonna do about 50% damage to him, and I'll move on to the next statue. So he's about 50% HP, and for me, the indication to move on to the next statue is when he explodes. Okay, when this guy, you see this black flame right here, this is the indication for me to go either here or here. Okay, these two areas. So I decide to come over here, and for me, my safe zone again is in the middle right here. This is where I'll be, and I'll wait for that guy to come here, and I'll just wait here, and I'll just chill until that guy gets here. So again, I'm just waiting, and I'm just chilling. He's here. I see him. As you can see right here, this is him in the blue. I'm just gonna do my 360 AoEs, and he'll die. If you look in the top, this is his HP bar. I'm keeping track of it. Boom, he's dead. And now if you look at my buff bar, I have 8 seconds to kill the next one. As you can see, there's wake up time and kill time. Also, wake up time and kill time. So what you want to do is you want to kill the third guy before the buff ends. So I'm waking him up, and then boom, he's dead. And as you can see, I didn't pull the third guy. I stayed here with the third guy, and I killed the third guy, and now I have a buff that's blue. So again, the rotation is blue, purple, and blue, purple, then red, right? So you want to go in that same order: blue, purple, red. Right here, as you can see, I am starting with blue, and then I'll just do blue, purple, red, blue, purple, red, blue, purple, red. You got, these are literally all the mechanics to Gyfin, okay? Blue, purple, red. You want to stay behind them, and you want to do the bosses how I just showed you how to do the bosses. The butcher, my bad, not boss, butcher, or butcher and boss, same thing. And then the last thing is, the last tip I want to give is note how my my camera angle is all the way up. Okay, when you come to Gyfin Rhasia and your camera is all the way down, what you won't see is the HP bars of mob. And you want to be able to see the HP bars of mob, because whenever you do that technique, the boss pulling technique, you don't want to overkill them. You don't want to kill them too fast, or else you won't be able to pull. Okay, so that's the whole reason why you pull it up. Or you also might want to see the HP when you do the pack itself. You might want to know how long you have to gauge before he's gonna turn around or something like that. If you need to know, that's the whole reason why you want to pull the camera angle all the way up. As you can see, my camera angle. This is my character right here. This is my character right here, and my cursor is all the way up here. It's because I have put up my camera angle as high as possible. And the way you do it, all you do is hold shift plus up arrow, okay? Shift plus up arrow will change your camera angle to go all the way up, or shift down to fix it. Okay, so shift down will bring it down, and shift up will bring it up. And that's why you want to have your camera angle up. All right, and those are literally all the tips and tricks to Gyfin. When you grind Gyfin, just like play this red, blue, and purple, or blue, purple, and red thing over and over again until you get accustomed to it. Because when you are new, you won't know how to do the mechanics. You won't know the breakpoints of how the mob wakes up. You just watch it and replicate it. Just watch it and replicate it. After like a couple hours of watching it and replicating it, you won't need to like watch me. You won't need to worry about your positioning. For me, it took like 3 days to learn positioning, because when I got here, I was 338 DP, like I said, and I was just dying left and right. Okay, and as you saw earlier, what I recommended in terms of gear, artifacts, and crystals, that's what I was running, because those crystals were cheap. If I died, it's fine. I had nothing to worry about. Those artifacts were keeping me alive because I had low DP. When I get hit, you will get hit because you will eventually get lazy. If you don't think you get lazy, if you start adding the higher end crystals, which I will show you in a bit, then you'll start seeing super high increase in your damage. All right, so let's talk about the higher end crystals real quick. Okay, and these are the crystals I personally use. I'll show you in game after this. So boom, gear planner, go into crystals, presets, and right here, these are my personal crystals that I use for whoops, I don't think it's this. Let me check if it is this. Akarods, back attacks, Macaloids, Karma. Yep, this is the exact setup that I use. Okay, so I use 2 Akarod. When you get comfortable, when you have enough gear, and when you get comfortable enough not to die, this is what I personally use. If you have Garmatar, you'll have 2 additional slots, and in the 2 additional slots, all you want to do is you want to use something like a Bond Karma or another AP crystal. I know there's 2 different types of AP crystals, but you just want to use those. Okay, AP is very high. Oh, my bad. You can use decimations. Yeah, decimations. 2 decimations would be up big too. Also, if you can use a Garen, you use Garen instead of this one. I only could afford to buy a Bhagwan because kind of broke on this account, so I bought the Bhagwan. But instead of Bhagwan, you use the Jiren tier, and then if you have the Garmator, or if you don't need to use 2 Valors and you could just use 1 Valor and 1 crit, you could use 2 decimations. If you have Garmat, you could use 2 decimation. You can use Bon Karma. Bon Karmas are 100 mil for AP. All you want to do is you want to find a crystal that will give you plus 5 AP. There's multiple things that will give you plus 5 AP. Okay, and I won't really show it off here. All right, so that's what you do at higher end. And also I showed you what to do after you grind here, right? When you grind here, you're aiming to move away from this 281 gear score that you have right here. You're trying to move away from this. Okay, and you're trying to progress down. Okay, and the progression is basically from here you get your second pen narc. Again, the second pen narc will give you more DP and more monster damage, more common monster damage. You'll get 283. That's not really a bracket, but you'll get higher AP. But the real item that you're getting is Kama Sylvia damage. Okay, Kama Sylvia damage is big. And then here you have 2 options. Okay, your option number 1 is Vel, and option number 2 is Fallen Gods. Okay, so if you go Vel, you'll get the 285 bracket, and again your DP is gonna stay about the same with Vel, unless you put upgrades on it. When you put upgrades on it, you'll get to 360, which is still kind of low DP compared to the dual fallen gods. And again, you can still take a lot of damage at 360, but you can definitely, it'll definitely feel comfortable to do Gyfin around here. And the second option is either if you don't get the Vel, you'll just be Destruction Stone and you get all of your dual fallen gods. If you get all of your dual fallen gods, what will end up happening is you can start using more expensive crystals, because as you can see right here, you're 410 DP and you're going to be fairly tanky and you won't really have to worry about it. So since you're using, you're not going to gain any AP from this, but what it is going to allow you to do is be comfortably tanky so that you can use higher crystals without losing them, and the higher crystals will give you the AP required. And at this point you can also swap your artifacts to monster AP and Kama Sylvia damage or death blow or whatever is best for your class, back attack, things like that. Like you can start using offensive artifacts at that point. But like I said earlier on, when you're 281 AP, you just want to use that defensive one 350 DP. Like you just want to use your defensive one until you get used to the grind spot, and then after you either get your fallen gods, you go for the other thing. So if you got your Vel's Heart first, then after Vel's Heart, you'd go for your dual fallen gods. If you got your dual fallen gods first, then you go for a Vel. It doesn't matter, it's vice versa. And then the last upgrades, what you're gonna do is go for the cups. Okay, the cups, all you want to do is everything yellow. And the reason why you want everything yellow, you want more damage, more PvE, and faster you do PvE, faster you get more money, faster you can get out of this garbage gear hellhole. Because let's just be real, this is making you money, but it ain't making you what your next goal is. Okay, so your next goal should be higher than this, and you know, at higher break points than this, you'll make more and more silver. And so that's why you're trying to get out of this. So at this point you should be able to progress to whatever gear you want. And that was my, this is the full Gyfin Rhasia build. Thanks for hanging out, watching, share if you want to, share if it helped you, and if somebody is in need for the Gyfin Rhasia build. I'm gonna just leave it at that. This is the whole Gyfin Rhasia build, A to Z. I'll catch y'all in the next video.